Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says the country's growth rate is projected to relapse into a second recession in 4 years from the third quarter of 2020. She stated this while declaring open the 13th Chartered Institute of Banking and Finance Annual Conference in Abuja. Arise Correspondent Chinaemerem Joseph brings us details.
It's almost 6 months since Nigeria joined the rest of the world battling the COVID-19 pandemic. Nigeria has had its own fair share as the lockdown of virtually all sectors of the economy at the peak of the pandemic left the nation's second quarter growth rate in the negative region. The adverse effects of the pandemic and the huge crash in the price of oil has now left policymakers working hard to see how to lift the economy out of a looming recession. This conference by stakeholders in the banking sector examines their role in achieving this.
The banking sector is reckoned as a fulcrum and a barometer of the financial system, as it plays a predominant role in the economic development of any country as a growth facilitator. Its resilience is therefore a major precondition for sustainable economic growth and stability.
The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic during the first half of 2020 and the measures put in place to contain the spread of the virus caused a significant shock to our economy. Crude oil prices have hovered from its low of $19 per barrel in April 2020, but it is yet to return to pre-pandemic levels of over $60 a barrel in January 2020. And we are not hopeful at all that for the rest of 2020 that it will go above 50.
This picture is brilliantly captured within the 17 UN SDG, which include decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, infrastructure.
A number of measures have already been rolled out by the government to cushion economic shocks brought by the pandemic. Both the Minister of Finance and the Central Bank Governor agreed this will lead to a gradual recovery in the short term.
Some of the measures instituted by the CBN in the banking system were taken to prevent an economic crisis from spilling over into a financial crisis. We protected the interest of depositors by ensuring that banks made adequate capital provisions to cover for unexpected losses. We were also able to support viable businesses that had been affected by the pandemic through access to intervention funds. We do expect that GDP growth for the third quarter will reflect a significant recovery relative to the second quarter contraction that we saw.
Amidst this uncertainty created by the pandemic, we are confident that the Nigerian economy will bounce back strongly within the near term with the right policy responses to this multidimensional crisis. Since we cannot simply wait for things to get better on their own, we have had to formulate appropriate policies to implement them steadily in order to address the challenges head-on.
In contributing ideas for sustainable economic growth, these stakeholders want the banking industry to focus on these areas.
You can see that everybody is focusing toward making a lot of effort to support small businesses in Nigeria, and that's the only way forward. We need to also support the issues of agriculture and also manufacturing. And that is the only area I think we need to invest heavily if we really want to be able to support our economy.
We support agri, and we see that most farmers in Nigeria are credible people. The challenge has been the cost of access to finance was too high. Technology is breaking down those costs and bringing it much lower.
Every hand must be on the deck to ensure that the wheel of production, the wheel of progress of the economy is not stifled or stalled. And that is the reason why the fiscal authority of Nigeria, Ministry of Finance and the Ghana government, and the monetary authority, the CBN and co, are collaborating together to see how we can pump more funds into the real sector.
Now, the takeaway from here is simply how in the next 2 days, participants at this conference can brainstorm on facilitating a sustainable future. A communique with recommendations on how placing the economy on a sustainable path will be achieved in the near term is expected after the conference. Chinaemerem Joseph, Arise News.